another video. I am back with my fitness pharmacist friend, Laura. She is going to help me with my form on deadlifts. And you guys too, because form is very, very important. When you're doing deadlifts, you don't want to hurt your back, right?
Extremely important, yes. If you're not doing it right, you're not working the muscles that the exercise is intended for. You want to start with just low weight. If you've never done the exercise before, don't go crazy. You can see men in there going crazy. You are not going to go crazy because you're not going to hurt yourself. So you get your 45-pound bar. Walk up to the bar. Really important where you place your feet. So the bar is going to be right over the mid-foot of your foot. Just kind of bounce a little bit, get yourself set. Always before I get ready to do a deadlift, I just kind of like mentally get prepared, set myself, think about all the muscles that you're going to be working. The great thing about the deadlift is it works the entire body. You can do deadlifts and then leave the gym. You don't have to do a bunch of other crazy exercises because it works your quads, your hamstrings, your core, which is amazing, your back, your grip, your biceps. It helps with cardiorespiratory endurance as well because of the breathing techniques that you have to use to actually lift the weight. Just an overall amazing exercise. But you got to make sure that you do it right, especially for women. One thing that I see a lot of people doing is using belts. You don't have to use belts, and please don't do them starting out because you're taking away the abdominal area as your balance and your core stability. So if you're adding that belt, and even before getting to a higher weight, you're taking away from the exercise, which it's intended for that core strength too. So get up to the bar, mid-foot. When you crouch down, it's really important, and I do this weird thing with my heels. I don't know why I do that. Do whatever you can to get ready. When you're bending down to the bar, it's about 1 inch from your shins here. You want to grip it really tight. As you look out, think about looking kind of far out, 10 feet in front of you. You don't want to look up high like this. That actually puts your neck at a bad angle, and you can actually hurt your neck and hurt your back. So you're going to look far out, grip it. When you're here at the bottom, you take a big breath in, and as you come up, you're going to drag it along your legs until you're at the top. And here you go. Now, you'll see some people get here and do this weird thing. I don't know why people do that. That is not necessary. This is the top. You're here, you've squeezed all the muscles that you need to squeeze. You can breathe out. Then when you go down, you're going to let the same thing, you're going to let the bar travel down. It's coming down your knees and to the stop. It's a dead lift, right? So you're going to go all the way down to a dead stop. Then you can reset and do another lift with it. You'll see a lot of people doing things that are really incorrect as far as coming up, and then they're coming down and they sit, that was really loud, and then they come back up. So they're not allowing that body to reset. They're not getting that good breath in for the next lift. And balancing the weight, so that's not good for them. So that is it. I'm trying to think if I left anything out. I don't think so.
One thing when I was in the gym with Laura that she noticed that I was doing wrong, which I'm sure I'm doing a lot of things wrong, but is that I was looking down.
Right.
And I think that's actually part of the reason why I'm not getting the bar closer to my body. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try looking more.
Try looking out, yeah,
more
at a more angle. And you can actually even feel it right in here when you're looking further out, that it's actually puts your back at that correct angle so that you're not hurting your neck.
Yeah.
and travel down.
Yeah, I find that
Much different.
it's a lot different depending on where you're looking. So that's a great tip.
Yes. And I listened to Mark Ribito, who does Starting Strength. He's kind of like my guru man when I'm trying to correct form and thinking about form on different exercises. And that was one thing I got from his podcast about deadlifting, that I have a tendency to either look too high, I wasn't looking in the right spot. So the other day when I was doing these, just thinking about form, just that little slight change in head angle, I didn't feel as much tension up in the upper back, which is, I mean, the upper back is holding on to the bar, yes, through your arms, but you should not feel tension in through your neck. If you feel tension in through your neck is at an incorrect angle. And the same thing if you're doing squats too, which I wasn't thinking about that really either, but when you've got it here and you're coming down, you still want that correct angle, and you want to be looking out kind of like 10 feet in front of you so that you're at that good angle. And this is the power angle here, and you're not putting any kind of extra pressure up on your neck. A lot of people, when they first start deadlifts too, have a problem with flexibility, actually getting down to the bar. So if you're at a gym that has like a squat rack, you can start with putting the bar up here first and just holding it. So you're just holding it, and practice that flexibility of just trying to get down and trying to make it all the way to the floor. You can also do a alternate grip with it. Interesting, that's how I was always doing it. I'm trying not to do that as much based on some things that I just now listened to a couple of weeks ago. I didn't think about it. You're actually putting your shoulders in different positions with the alternate grip. So one can actually end up being weaker than the other. So I'm trying to balance that out by practicing. But it is hard, and the deadlift will help strengthen your grip.
Or if you do alternate your grip, the next set, flip your grip.
Exactly. And try doing it first without any kind of different grip, just practicing that, especially at the low weight. It's gonna help you there. And as you get higher and higher and you're having to do heavier weights, you can kind of change out the grip, because that's one of the first things to go really is your grip strength, especially for women. We don't have big, huge wrists, a lot of muscles in through there. So the grip strength is the first thing that tends to, go as you're trying to get heavier and heavier.
Cool. Yeah, I want to definitely start off at these smaller weights. This right now we just have 55 pounds here.
Yeah.
So until you get your form right, I mean, it's okay to progress a little bit, but until you have your form right, you really don't want to be doing, your body weight in deadlifts, because again, you don't want to hurt yourself.
Right.
But when you do get to that point after progressing slowly over time, another thing that can help a lot are wrist straps, which I personally find very helpful, because she was mentioning the grip strength is the first to go, so it kind of helps you pull the bar up without letting your grip strength go, and then you're using your body to pull it up instead of your grip.
And chalk too. I use chalk anytime I'm going to do deadlifts. My hands tend to get super duper sweaty for some reason. So using chalk will help with that. Gives you a better grip there. And doing other exercises too to help your grip strength, like pull-ups, chin-ups, which we'll have a chin-up video coming soon on going from 0 chin-ups to being at least do 5, which doesn't sound like much. But for a woman, that's a lot. So I will tell you. And that can take a long time to build up, just like with anything. And I think you have to just be positive about it. Don't compare yourself to other people in the gym. Oh, that guy's doing 400 pounds. Okay, who cares? Like, do what you can do when you're there. And don't worry about anybody else. Like practicing form, and there's all kinds of information out there as far as like forms on squats and deadlifts. Those are the 2 main exercises I think all women should do. If you can do those and you have the form right, then you're going to be good with anything else that you can do. And you really don't need to do anything else. You could spend the entire time at the gym working on your deadlift form and have an amazing workout. And the same with squats. Especially the deadlift. My goodness. I mean, after doing, this is the first exercise I always start with. And after doing that, I'm tired. Like, my breathing is heavy.
Yeah.
Even talking and doing this and doing it because I'm not used to talking while I'm doing the exercise, I'm like, whew, I'm a little bit out of breath. And that's great because this is your whole body and what it's intended to do. And if you think about it in real life situations too, what are you doing throughout the day? Oh my gosh, you're walking over here, you're picking this up, you're picking this kid up, you know, you're taking it, walking around like with heavy loads. So this is actually for just overall fitness. This helps you get there.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, that it is a functional exercise. Is very practical because you are built up. Because you are building the muscles that you need to pick things up, like your kid or your groceries or whatever it is.
Or your dog that thinks he's a kid, you know.
Totally. It's going to help you with your everyday life for sure.
Yes, exactly. So when building too is another key point as you're building, trying to add more weight and add more weight. Start out low, of course, and for the first couple times you deadlift, think about form. That's all you're there for, is to make sure that you have the form down right, so that the more you practice it, the better you'll be. And as you add weight, your form's not going to go, because that's just second nature to you. Especially you want to watch your lower back. As you're coming up, you don't want to curve your spine in any way. So as you get used to it, you know, the flexibility will come too. So when you're down, you know, this is down, and you're trying to get those hips down at the correct angle, which is, I don't know, like 45 degrees. I'm not, not exactly sure on that one, but you can feel, and the higher you are, of course, the more pressure you're putting on your upper body, and you're not using the biggest muscle in your body, of course, which is your glutes back here, to do that initial pull. That's where that initial pull comes from. And as you're traveling up, and you're traveling up the legs, then the back starts to get involved, but it's mostly there just to kind of hold on to that weight. And then it comes into play as you're going down, because you're having to hold on to that heavy bar as you're going down. But the initial pull is from your glutes. And if you're up here, they can't. This is your back.
This is your back, yeah. My back always hurts after doing this, which is another sign that you're doing it not with perfect form. If your back, if all you feel it in is your back the next day,
right, then
gotta work on your form.
You gotta work on your form.
I know this for a fact for me, so.
Yeah. In fact, like for the most part, you may feel a little soreness in your back, but what you should feel after you've done it properly is soreness in the legs, because that's where that pull is coming from, is that soreness, the glutes, and the quads too get involved too. And then you're just traveling up. I usually have a little bit of bruising on my shins after deadlifts, and that's how you know you've got it close. It should not leave your legs. Once you start coming out here, then you're losing that back end, and you can definitely hurt your back. The other thing too, I forgot to say, when you're there, as far as your upper body, you want to make sure that you're not over the bar like this, that your shoulders are almost exactly in line with the bar, and then your shoulder blades are down, and that core is super tight. I mean, super tight, because that's going to keep your upper body nice and strong as you're lifting that weight.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing to bring up, is your core. Think about, as some of my followers may know, that I had hurt my hip last fall, and I went to see a physiotherapist, and they really tried to get me to focus on my pelvic floor. And so some exercises that you can do, like as a pre-deadlift or pre-squat, is like kind of like Kegel, do a Kegel, and then squeeze your glutes, and that'll help you feel it right in here. And so that's how you know you're activating the right muscles when you're gonna do this exercise.
And warm up all together for anything, that's a good point, is going to help you from getting injured. And I see it all the time, and it just makes me cringe. I see people walk in, no warm up, put a bunch of weight on the bar and start going to town, and that's the best way to hurt yourself. If you hurt yourself, you can't get to your goals, and more than likely you're going to be even further from them, and maybe even stop working out entirely if the injury is so bad. So make sure you warm up. Abs is a good warm up. Just air squats, especially to get nice and limber for the deadlifts. I tend to do a lot of squats before I do the heavy squats and before I do the deadlifts. Or step ups is another good one to get the lower half really warmed up and get your breathing going.
And I actually have a video on how I warmed up for a leg day, and I can put that in the description box below so you can check it out. There's a few exercises that I did to warm up for leg day that you guys can follow along with and check out.
All right, so you can go to 55 and you can go to 200, which is really, really crazy.
Will you demonstrate that for us?
I can demonstrate that, hopefully.
I'm not going to be doing this much, but someone who can do this with proper form is going to demonstrate it with you, for you.
So my max is 225, which has taken a long time to get there. So don't think it just happens, you know, the next month, because it doesn't, I will tell you. Especially for women, it is hard to build up that strength to get to that, especially if it's double your body weight or at least 1 time your body weight. And a good kind of rule of thumb is if you get to the point where you are lifting your body weight, that's a good fitness standard for you. 2 times your body weight is pretty awesome. Over that, I mean, I don't know, I guess you're an Olympic weightlifter. I don't know how you can do that. Like, I'm still trying to get there, and I don't know how long that's gonna take. But 1 times your body weight is a good first goal, and just to think, don't put it on a timetable, because you will have weeks where you're like piling the weight on, and then the next week you may not even be able to do half that.
Yeah.
And that's a normal thing. For women, especially during times of the month, it's really difficult.
That's a good week to do, like a deload week where you're just doing lighter weights, maybe a little extra reps, but better form, more focusing on your form than strength.
Yes, exactly.
I agree.
All right.
So we'll pile on the weights here. Intermission. Okay, so we're at 135?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, got some hip popping in that, which is fine. That's pretty normal. And then I have to start doing the other grip. So this is 185. This is the weight, I kind of call it my maintaining weight, because I typically can always hit it. 185, 195, I can always do it. When I start hitting 200, 10, 15, those are the weights that sometimes I can't do it. Sometimes I get an inch or so off the ground and I have totally lost it. A lot of it depends on my concentration too. If I've had a really terrible, crazy day, or just being tired, or if I've done maybe too much core the day before, my core is tired. So I actually can't have that. I don't have any stability there to help me with the last half of the pull. But the 185 is one that I try to get every single time. I can do more reps with it. Sometimes I'll do 5 or 6 sets, which is 185. If I don't feel like I'm going to be able to do the heavier weight, just stick with this. And this is hard. This is still hard, but it's a weight that I know that I can always get to. And it kind of gives you something to start with and say, okay, I know I can always do this weight, so let me get there. Let me do several sets with it, and still working hard, still breathing hard, which is, you know, the whole point of the exercise, just to get there. So
awesome.
And I have to go to the alternate grip here just because I have some issues with this wrist, so I'll start to get to where I can't pick it up unless this one is turned the other way. So. And if you hear popping, don't worry. It is normal. Your muscles, your joints are gonna pop a little bit, so don't be scared about that. Okay, 205. That's what I'll be doing, which is fine.
Got this.
More. Okay, 205. Yay!
So that is well over her body weight, by the way.
Yes.
So that is impressive to me because I can't really go over my body weight, but so much. I mean, I could, but again, my form isn't the best, and I don't want to hurt myself, so I'm not gonna do it.
So don't do it till you have your form right. Don't do it. And even on these heavy, for me, sometimes I can feel like I'm losing it just a little bit with my back. So you just gotta watch that. You don't want to go so crazy that you're pulling, and when you're pulling up, you're pulling like this because you're gonna cause some injury to your back and to your spine. And doing heavy squats will help you increase the weight on deadlifts because you're engaging those glutes, which is that initial pull there too.
Yeah, and when you do decide to go heavier, don't worry about hitting the same number of reps, do fewer reps. Like even if you only do like 2 or 3 of them, you know, you're at least progressing and strengthening what you can do, so that maybe next time you could do 4 instead of 3 or something like that.
Exactly, yeah, because you're causing that trauma to the muscle, which is how we get muscle growth, even if it's just 1 or 2 reps on a really heavy. And then if that's what you got, then go back down. So like typically on this weight, I can maybe do 2 or 3. At the highest, I think I did 1, and I couldn't lift it after that. That was the 1, and then I was done. So then I'll go back down to the 185 at this point and do a couple of sets at that, or if that's too much, I'll go down to 155 and try to do as much as I can of that. So you're still building that strength. You don't always have to go super heavy, super hard. You don't have to do that. You're gonna hurt yourself if you do that.
Don't hurt yourself. Be smart.
Be smart, please. We're women, right? We're smarter than men. Yeah. And when it comes to things like this, just listen to your body, how you feel. If you drop it, you drop it. Whatever. Don't be afraid of that. You know, don't hurt yourself trying to hold on to it if it's too much. That last set, I felt like for some reason my right hand was like, my grip wasn't there for whatever reason. So I did feel very uneven there. So today is not my day with 200 weight. This hand said no. So I don't even know if I could pick it up again. I might could, but I feel like my form would be off. So
yeah. So if you feel like your form is compromised, go back. Don't go down in weight. So
yeah.
And don't give up.
Do not give up.
Yes. Did you have anything else to add?
So don't be afraid of the bar. It looks like a lot. You think, it's too heavy for me, but start where you can start and just do the bar. Use it as a way to engage your muscles. Think about what muscles you're using, holding that tummy super, super tight, and protecting that lower back. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for joining me again for another video. Okay, ladies, let us know how many of you have ventured off of the cardio equipment and into the free weight area, or how many of you are interested in moving into the free weight area and learning how to do more types of these exercises, and which exercises would you like us to do a tutorial on next? Let us know. Just drop down in the comments below. Don't forget to flex, which I can't do right now, dance, and deadlift your puppy.
Yes. If they cooperate.
If they cooperate. Okay.